Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Friday afternoon / evening Zoom edition. Good week in crypto, and we had some news. There was the fake out on Monday. We talked about that on my Monday Zoom with the alleged ETF approval for Bitcoin, and then it went up 10%, and then just kidding, not approved, dropped back down. So we have a nice dress rehearsal for when and if that happens later in the year or early next year. Today's news was that the SEC dropped this lawsuit against XRP. So that's done now. I'm curious, as somebody who has just enough legal knowledge to be dangerous, as if the SEC didn't want to establish any more legal precedent by allowing the court to rule, so they dismissed the case themselves, maybe looking for a better case to fight crypto on. I'm not sure, but regardless, Bitcoin's had a nice bump. Ethereum is up a little bit. XRP had a bump too, but not as much as I thought. Maybe that was priced in. Let's go to the charts and check it out.
CJ, with that SEC thing, that it's still not going to be approved until I think it was around January or February was the dates when that was actually going to happen. So, it's not imminent. There is a time period, and I don't know if you saw it, but on one of the other meetings we attend, they put up a chart of the time frame for all those things to be approved or rejected.
Oh,
Deadlines
the
for them to
ETFs
do it.
and the
Yeah,
the image that's been floating
yeah.
around Twitter and other places. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I had to miss a large part of that CryptNation Zoom on Friday. I caught the beginning and the end, but yeah,
Oh,
some I've seen some talking heads say it could be approved by the end of the year, and then obviously that information you just described makes it look
well,
like
well,
it
that
could
was
be.
basically, yeah, that was basically the time frame that it had to be approved by, unless they bring up another action,
Yeah, yeah. So
So,
with that going on, at least in the not too distant future, and then the SEC dropping the XRP suit today, things are looking better. And as you can see on the chart, we've had a big fat green candle today. Broke through 30K briefly, but withdrew back to where we are now in the mid 29. So, but again, a nice pump up, since September, and maybe October might be Uptober after all. So 3% bump on Bitcoin today. Ethereum about 2.5%. I brought down the top of my range on here to better reflect recent events. That 1750 seems to be resistance on Ethereum, where 30K is. On Bitcoin. Let's look at our XRP real quick. I don't have zones drawn on that one, I don't think, but yeah, it's only up, 0.15%, but we had the day chart. Let's go to an hour chart. Yeah, we had this big pump. Maybe think some insider information pumped this up ahead of time before the announcement. But anyway, that's where we are now. Today's actually showing a little bit down. So again, might have been priced in. XRP was hovering around 48, 49 cents. Now it's over 52. So pretty good week for XRP, but today wasn't as the big move I expected. Any questions, comments about the markets overall? Not, we'll look at Altcoin Alert, see if we can find some day trades for the weekend. All right. Let's go to Altcoin Alert. Gonna reload. I was looking at a few things earlier, and I hadn't traded TRB in a while, and that's got a pretty high score, 79.9. We'll look at stacks as well. IOTA's been up here all week, but it hasn't really done much. So, but Stacks had a big move, tends to follow Bitcoin, you know, in an exaggerated way. And TRB had a really nice day as well. So let's see, I've got that one up at the moment. I've got the Bybit perpetual contract up, so we can trade this long or short if you can get into Bybit. If you're in a foreign land or you have the sneaky way around, if you want to trade on foreign exchanges, email me and I'll let you know how to do that. Okay, with the 5-minute chart, we've got the setup I've been using for the past few weeks with the supply and demand visible range, helping me sort out support and resistance. And the RTI, I've used this instead of the RSI. And then I use this cumulative delta to show me the strength of the market at the time I'm looking to get in. Shout out to Frank for these last two. So at the minute, we're at the top of the Bollinger Band on the 5-minute chart, not where I want to get in. And it's looking a little squeezy. It would be nice to have some confirmation of a bull run so I can trade squeezes again. You know, squeezes like this, shoots up, drops, hits this SMA line, starts to squeeze together, and then it usually pops again. So it's a strategy I haven't discussed in a few years, but it'd be nice to get into a bull market and trade that way. It's another one of those iCoin Pro strategies. Anyway, so I'm seeing some support right around here, 68.94. Again here right around $70.50. And then the green zone, the top of the green zone, 63.50, give or take. So those could be price alerts for a better entry than what we have now. So you right click here, add your alert, and AA score purchase, notifications. I like to notify my app, show a pop-up on my computer, play a sound on my computer, and then choose whatever noise or sound that's reasonably pleasant but still gets your attention. So I prefer alerts on the 15-minute chart. And we're in the red zone now, which could be a good place to get in on a short. So keep that in mind. On our RTI options, I've been using breaking above and below the 50, this white line. And then for dip trades and pump trades, when it drops below the 20, comes back up as a good dip trade. When it blows up above the 80 and drops back down, that can be a good short trade. If you want to keep an eye on things, you can use the RTI, this information here in this cumulative delta, as indication that a trend is continuing, and stay in trades longer than the take profit approach that I usually use. Okay, so this one had a really nice entry here on the 15. It dipped below and then came back up. So that would have been the entry right about here. Gets my vertical line. So that's a nice entry on the 50. This is trend based, but actually you didn't really get confirmation on the cumulative delta till about here. So that's probably where I would have gotten in. Not quite as good of an entry, but much better force or momentum carrying the trade up. So I like that approach there. There's another incidence of it back here on Wednesday. So let's take a look at that real quick. Yeah, we get a pump up here. And this is usually more of the type of trade I'll get into when it's dipped below and it's working its way back. and we get the cross of the 50 here. Don't really get confirmation on the delta till here, and then makes a nice move up. So that's how I would use the 50. You can, what I just described could also work on a spot trade, say on Coinbase or something like that. Try to pick up 2, 3, 4%, or keep your eye on these indicators and ride it even longer. On the 80-20 approach, we get a dip below the 20 here on Wednesday, and then it crosses here. And again, it's pretty similar to what I just described. You get the big green candles here, so you get in and then ride that up. Where we have some fake outs going is on the short side. Like we have here a drop below the 80. Get a couple. There's small candles though. I'm not sure if this would have been persuasive enough. I actually probably would have gotten in around in this vicinity, and I'd probably maybe either still be in that trade or had to buy a couple additional positions. Let's say I get in right about here, it goes against me right away. Yeah, that would have been tough. Probably get stopped out on that one. So not looking good on the short side. And these are the hardest ones with the 80-20 approach, is when they break above, and then they come down here and kind of putz around the middle, or go sideways around the 80 or the 20. Like here we get a dip below the 80, then it kind of goes sideways. You don't get confirmation though, so this screens us out. Maybe we get in here where get a couple red candles, and then that's actually a pretty good trade. Yeah, it's 3% down, so that's a really good trade. So that in that situation, the cumulative delta would have been good. I'm thinking of calling this the CD because I can't say the word cumulative. The CD. Anyway, the CD would have been helpful on that one. And again, we're kind of putzing around the middle here. We haven't had a drop below the 80 since it's made this big move. So if you're ambitious and you want to try to catch this on the weekend, add an alert. If you want to trade it both directions, do something like this, entering a channel, 80 on the top, 20 on the bottom, once per bar close, and I think that was an AA score purchase. So that's one way to approach it. If you want to use the 50, I changed this alert a little bit because I tend to trade both directions. So instead of, if you're spot trading, this is the choice, this first choice that comes up in the list, RTI crossover, because it'll come from the bottom and cross over the 50. But if you want to trade both directions, you should probably just do crossing and then choose 50. This way it'll trigger if it crosses up or crosses down. And AA score purchase. So that's how you do that. So any questions on TRB? Okay. Let's see what else we've got. So that was, well, let's look at, what's the other one I was looking at? Stacks, STX. Yeah, this one I actually traded today. Though I don't think it's gone my way yet. Looking at my other screen here where I have my trading software. And refreshing that. No, I'm still in that one. So yeah, where did I get in? I got that. I traded that one on a 50. It was kind of putzing around the middle here. It looked like it was going to dip down. I had the red candles. It was dipping down. So I got in, then it went sideways and up. So made a couple additional purchases. We'll see if that plays out on the short side. Let's start in the 5-minute. We are just bounce out of the green zone. So that's not bad. I think the top of the green zone would be a good place to get in, right around 61.50. So that would be a good place for price alert. On the 15-minute chart for our indicators, RTI makes a nice move after crossing. Probably would have gotten in right about here and caught that move up. On the cross on the 50, we get the dip below the 50 though is kind of a fake out so far. That's a trade I'm in that I discussed earlier. On the 80-20 approach, we get a cross here. So that would have been not an ideal entry, but eventually would have played out in this big move here. So both of those, there's 220 entries breaking above 20, and both of them would have worked out. Those are from Wednesday, I believe. Otherwise, it's been up here above the 80. Now the dip below the 80 that occurred right about here would have been pretty good. Let's bring so we get across here. We get a big red candle. Maybe you get in there. Maybe you wait for this kind of action. But let's say you wait for this second or third red candle. I'm sorry, I'm looking on the actual chart. I meant to be looking at the cumulative delta. So we get say the third one right about here. And yeah, that's a nice trade. It's 3% down. And I'm just looking for a 1% move on the chart at 10x leverage. So that one would have worked for me. Okay. So that's that for STX. Any questions on that one before we make some or do some more sorts? Okay. Okay. Frank said he was, yeah. I didn't kick you out, Frank. I wouldn't do that. So, and you'll have to address that later, I'm afraid. Let's go back to Altcoin Alert and do some other sorts. Social activity. Stacks again, fire and fire. Waves. Yeah. Looking to match up social activity and trading activity. Fire and thumbs up. On Telecoin, don't really know that one. Ren, traded that from time to time, up 2% today. Got fire and thumbs up. I think that's worthy of checking out. Yeah, let's look at Ren. Okay. Volume's not great. Few horizontal lines. It looks like it just came out of a sort of a div sequence. We got a squeeze and a bubble. 1, 2. It just keeps dropping though. Never really breaks the Bollinger Band. Sort of right here. Yeah, actually, I probably would have gotten in here a little too soon on that. An additional purchase here. It'd still be in that trade on a 1, 2, 3 dip on the 5-minute chart. But for the moment, the green zone is right here at 41352, so that might be a good place for a price alert. On our 15-minute chart, let's see, the RTI on the 50 approach, we get across here. Some support here. and a really nice move up on Ren. So that would have been a good entry there on the crossing 50 approach, and crossing the 20 approach would have got you in a little earlier. 3 small candles here on the cumulative. That might have been enough. Right in the green zone, I probably would have taken that trade. And again, nice move up. On the 80-20 approach, on a short, it looks like we get a dip. I don't know if I would have crossed here or not. Definitely does here. And then a big drop down. So, and the 50 approach, the 50 a little later, just right about here. And then we have 3 cumulative delta candles preceding that move, so that's probably a go. Yeah, I think we're in, 1.3%. So yeah, it looks pretty good on both directions. So which one do I want to take? I think I'll take the 80-20. I often do both. So I'll do it like this: add an alert, crossing 50, once per bar close, the social activity, notifications look good. I probably go with 3 notes reverb on that. Click create. And then for my 80-20, add an alert. This time we're going to enter a channel. 80 on top, 20 on the bottom. Once per bar close. I usually call that a 1, 2, 3 dip or pump. And give it a different notification. And I'm good to go. So Ren is a potential trade later on tonight or tomorrow. Any questions on this one? Okay. Let's look at the 1 hour projected range, see if anything pops out. No. If I get a gaudy number, 3, 4, 5% here in the middle, I'll look at this, but no, that doesn't look good. Long-term sentiment, another one of my favorite sorts. I'm trying to match up bullish or very bullish with the Elder Impulse, which is a technical indicator. See what we can find. Stacks is up here again. BSV, Solana, 8% move. Cool. Got a little bag of Solana as one of my hodls. Let's check out that one. That's a pretty big move for Solana in one day. So on the 5-minute, it's in the red zone. Bollinger Band's kind of squeezy. I'm seeing support here at 2670. And top of our green zone here is 2640. So either of those would be potential price alerts. On our 15-minute chart, the 50, we get across here, several green candles on our cumulative data, and then a nice move up. So that would have worked out nicely. Let me show that so you can see it. Crossing the 50 right about here. Yeah. So that's a good entry. On the short side, well, and the 80-20 is obviously a good entry as well, even better. Get in a little sooner. So the 80-20 is where we're trying to anticipate a move where something's starting, but isn't necessarily established. On the 50 cross, it's established. Can it hold long enough for us to make profit? So the 50 is the trend. The 80-20 is the retrace. I think I've said that a few times, but just to reemphasize. Okay, so we don't have any other crosses on the 20 or the 50 in this scenario since Wednesday. So let's look at this as a short potential. We do get a dip here, and right after get some red candles here on the delta. Might have gotten in that, and I'd still be in it had I done that. So yeah, I'd still be in that one. So not a great short move. That's about the only play I see with this one. Any questions on Solana? Okay. Well, we're zipping along here. Let's do one more. Let's look at the 24-hour change. And see what we can do. Yeah, this BSV took the altcoins that have Bitcoin in their name sometimes do well when Bitcoin does well, because people think, well, I don't want to pay $29,000 for Bitcoin, but I'll pay, $54 for BSV. Or you see this with Bitcoin Cash and some of the others. So this isn't convincing to me. Blue Zell's been kind of pumping lately. But sometimes when they're double digits, I think they're played out. Could be ready for a short. Yeah, let's we looked at TRB already. Let's look at Blue Zell. Let's see, is this one in my list? May have taken it out. Yeah. SDT. We do have a perpetual contract with Binance. We do have one with Bybit too. Let's look at that one. 5-minute chart, kind of squeezy in the red zone. Starting to dip a little bit. So looks pretty good for an entry on a short. The cumulative delta candles are really small. I like to see them a little bit bigger. On a short, I'd probably want to bounce up here to over 18 cents before I got in. So this might be a good place for a price alert if you want to do a short. The 15-minute chart, again, evaluating this for a short. The last time it broke 50, we've had 2 fake outs. There's one here that didn't do well. Yeah, and then this one is here, another fake out. Yeah, those are the 2 harsh fake outs, and then big moves against the short position. So I'm not recommending this as a short. As far as it hasn't gone below the 80 in quite a while. Looks like it's still trending up. Maybe it petered out here though. I don't know, maybe. Not loving that setup though. Okay, let's do one more sort. Instead of Altcoin Alert, a sort I like to do a couple times a week is just to sort the change in my list. So XRP might be ready to short. It's one of the few that are negative today. Ooh. We looked at this market overall, but not really as something to trade. So on the 5-minute, yeah, it's in the red zone, coming down. 15. So it just did dip below the 80. It just did come out of the red zone. I don't know. I'd be reluctant to short it on this close to good news, but maybe keep an eye on this and consider it for tomorrow if you want to short something. Okay, any questions or comments on XRP or anything else we talked about? Are there any coins you want to examine in further detail? Okay, then I will wrap it up here. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for that. Hope to see you live next time on Monday or Friday. Check out the opportunities and the pinned comment below. They help fund the channel. If you're a Carbon member, you'll need to exit this Zoom and rejoin or join me again on the Carbon link. That's at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're heading out, have a good weekend. Bye.